Needham faces a December 18th deadline to submit its preferred schematic report for the Pollard Middle School project to the Massachusetts School Building Authority. The report must recommend one option out of 7 proposals for the MSBA to review. On Thursday, September 25th, 7 town committees and boards came together for a summit to decide if any options should be eliminated now. Municipal producer Yushao Yuan reports.
Town manager Katie King broke this complex decision into 4 steps.
The first is the site. Are we going to build on Pollard or on Defazio? The second is, what will we decide on grade configuration? Are we building for 6 through 8 or a 7 through 8 school? Is this a new building, or are we doing a renovation and an addition? And the fourth decision is about the auditorium, the size and the scope of the auditorium.
The summit focused on whether to remove the 2 options on the Defazio site. Each board weighed in before the Permanent Public Building Committee, serving as project manager, took a vote. The biggest obstacle for Defazio is opposition from the Park and Recreation Commission, which shares jurisdiction over the land. Commissioner Cindy Chaston reaffirmed their position during the summit.
We did ask for this to be taken out of consideration as a site. We didn't put this on the table. In fact, it wasn't our table, but we would like it if it could be taken off the table.
She also warned losing Defazio would have major consequences for student athletics.
In an average season, we have 1,500 students or athletes that use that field. That's not counting visitors that come in from visiting teams. Now, maybe in a construction of 2 to 3 years, 2 years looks like the most optimistic, could be 3 years. That may not seem like much time to an adult. That's an eternity to a high school athlete.
Traffic is another challenge for Defazio.
The impact on Dedham Avenue, because it is 2 lanes, 1 in each direction, without much opportunity for widening or even implementing turning lanes or anything like that.
Superintendent Dan Gudekunst recommended narrowing the list soon to avoid missing the December deadline.
If the community wishes to stick to the schedule it has to start making decisions. And to continue to prolong or let decisions languish, I don't think will allow you to arrive at a logical decision, especially if it seems clear to at least many or some that Defazio is an improbable site. Not impossible, but improbable.
If the deadline is missed, the MSBA review would be pushed to April, delaying a text override vote until 2027 and likely driving up project costs.
My understanding is 3 to 5% additional costs on the total project.
The Select Board agreed Defazio should be removed, citing issues with traffic, flooding, disruption to athletic fields, and jurisdiction challenges.
In order to do a jurisdictional transfer, you need a majority vote of Park and Rec, 2/3 vote of town meeting, and then the state legislature has to approve it. And I don't see a path forward for that. And so I really think that's a non-starter.
As long as I understand, and I believe I do understand, that the Pollard site can be successful here. We can do the design in a way that is successful. That seems to me like the better way.
The school committee stressed its preference for a new 6 through 8 facility, but said it was disappointing to rule out what could have been the best option for students.
And as we're thinking about the educational experience for our students, when we're thinking about trying to bring in a robust theater program or auditorium, Defazio presents a lot of opportunities that we're kind of cutting short by not moving forward with that.
Building a 6 through 8 school at either Pollard or Defazio would require zoning changes. The planning board indicated it would support advancing either proposal to town meeting. The finance committee largely felt it was too early to eliminate options, noting the over $300 million price tag and calling it a monumental financial decision requiring thorough study.
And I understand that if we don't meet the February board meeting and instead we meet the April board meeting, there could be some financial implications. But in the scope of what we're talking about here, I think that those considerations are well worth taking and would be in the best interest of the town to make sure that we get this right. Because we have to get this project right. When we're spending this type of money, we need to make sure it's in the best interest of our school children, our residents, our staff.
One member, however, voiced a different perspective.
Seeing that there's not a significant cost difference between a new building at Pollard, challenges aside at both locations, that I'm comfortable, I guess, taking the Defazio site off the table at the moment.
Only one Conservation Commission member could attend. Speaking for herself, Clary Coutu opposed the Defazio options, saying it would trigger Article 97, which requires legislative approval to convert protected park or conservation land.
If you do go through the study and you pick Defazio and you pick the large multi-story building, that is going to have significant impacts on the water resource and wetlands areas. I've worked many years doing regulatory permitting, and that is a very big challenge.
After hearing all perspectives, the PPPC debated for another hour before voting to keep all 7 options under study.
I think it's important that we study each of them enough so we can say with fairly strong conviction, we've looked at all the major issues on these sites. We know what the town would like to do. We've come to the same conclusion, or we've come to a different conclusion.
Ahead of the vote, Superintendent Goodicon suggested delaying the preferred schematic report submission if all options remain on the table.
Because I don't believe that you will have the time you need, because you will be spending a lot of energy talking about Defazio, and you will not be able to get to 7868 auditorium. So it makes sense if that's what you choose to do, but I also think it makes sense for the process to be delayed.
For the Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.